Hey friends, Vin Leman here. Welcome to today's training. We're going to speak about what is network marketing, what is this home-based business boom, what is this affiliate marketing, what is this stuff. Someone might have invited you to take a look at a program, or you might be involved with this business, this industry now, and maybe you haven't had the proper training. You really don't know exactly what it is. You don't know really why to commit, how to commit. A lot of people are very, very confused about it. I have an old friend of mine that hit me up. I worked with him 20 years ago. I was like, what do you do? Is that like a pyramid business you're involved in? I said, yeah. And so anyway, I like to do these trainings. It's something that really changed my life. And today's training, we're going to get into something like assets and liabilities right out of the cash flow quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki. These books changed my life. The first book I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Then I read this book, Cash Flow Quadrant. It really changed everything for me. And it puts in perspective because I was pretty much all of these quadrants. I was an employee. I worked for many, many years. I was a New York City police officer. I did have a job. I was also a New York City firefighter. And I did actually trade my time for money. It's nothing right or wrong with it. That's just how I went about that's how I created my income. There's four ways to create income. There's a linear income, leverage income, and residual income. And then I had, we got married, we started having babies. I was already an employee and I became a loan officer in the mortgage space. So I was self-employed. I owned a job. I really had no leverage. And the truth is that 95% of people are on this side of the quadrant, with 5% of the income is actually on this. And from what I've learned since this book was written, it's more like 98% and 2%. So there's a very big disparity in incomes. And we know this, we see what's going on in the world right now. And so many people are flocking into this space. I'm speaking quickly. I want to get this training in and out, but I do want to give you a perspective on what this really actually is, the network marketing space. We'll be speaking about the business owner today, an actual business. I'm not speaking about a self-employed or a brick and mortar or someone who's the boss. I'm speaking about owning a system. This is how most people create wealth. And this is it. And investors, big investors, they invest in businesses. They do not invest in self-employed people, and certainly do not invest in employees. So this is on the B side of the quadrant. Okay. And I'm going to be speaking about these boxes here. And it's a basic financial statement. And this changed my life. This book, this everything changed my perspective. Actually, once I internalized it, it made me unstoppable. A lot of times people are looking for a why, their reason why, but this is something that can make you unstoppable potentially. These are four boxes, and what they represent are your income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. I'm going to get rid of my mug in the upper right-hand corner so we can see more on the screen. So I'll just speak for myself. Most people can identify with this. I had a job, okay, and that's what I did. That's how I made my income. A lot of people do $100,000 per year. I made less than that actually. And our number one expenses are taxes. If you're W-2, it is obvious. Then it's your retirement, your 401k, your 457, your Roth IRA, these things. Yes, they're tax deferred. Hopefully they go in before you're taxed. And so that's basically what most people do. So the taxes, what you do is you just subtract about 28%. For the sake of math, I'm doing 28%, and you end up with $72,000 per year. You divide this by 12, and you have $6,000 per month, and that's your income from your job. All right. Most people do. What I did is I went and I got married, and I got a mortgage, a car payment, credit cards. I didn't have any student loans. A lot of people do. All right. Then you fill up your life with kids and expenses and everything else that goes with it. Cable, utilities, cell phones, commute, tuition, food, holidays, vacation. There are new things new expenses we seem to be acquiring, all of us. I don't know if is it just me or everyone's acquiring these new expenses. So these expenses represent what? They represent dollar amounts. Let's face it. So I'm just putting in some very square dollars. You do your numbers. I'll do these numbers. A lot of people wish they had these numbers. A lot of people are glad they didn't. This is just for mathematical purpose. All right. All of these things translate into something like you say, well, vacation, how's that $3,000 a month? Holiday, $3,000 a month. Just to give you an example, a lot of people don't do their math. Like myself, I never did my math properly. This is what what got us stressed out and behind the eight ball was, let's just use holidays. Holidays, what are holidays? Well, New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day. I mean, do you have a party? Do you go out? Do you get dressed? Does your wife get a new pair of shoes? Mine does, right? Valentine's Day, do we do things? Do we go out? Do we get chocolates? Do we get stuff? Do we decorate? Yes. St. Patrick's Day, do we do all those things? Yes. Easter, there's Rosh Hashanah, there's Hanukkah, there's, Memorial Day. Do you go away? Do you do anything? Do you go out? All right. They're holidays. All right. What about birthdays? Do you have any birthdays in the house? Do you have 4th of July? Do you do anything for that? Do you do anything for Labor Day, Memorial Day? Do you do anything for Halloween? Do you decorate? Do you do anything for Thanksgiving? Do you do anything for Christmas? These things do add up. When you add them up, you'll be surprised or not surprised, but they do add up. As just an example about expenses. And by the way, let me just stop for a second and get back to you. This is not that much fun to speak about. All right. I'm just, all this stuff here is like, right. I don't know if I want to talk about this right now. This is great. I know, I get it. But, this is part of the training. I know I'll try to keep it as somewhat entertaining, educational, and empowering as possible. Let's move forward. So your liabilities, the reason they're called liabilities is because when you run your credit report, it's got your name tied to it, all right? Expenses, all right? These things are horrific. Here, these things, they have a lot of interest that was created out of thin air by the Fed. That's another training, another video. You should definitely read The Creatures of Jekyll Island, just to throw it out there, right? So about the Fed and how that was created. So you take your 2,000 and 3,600 and add them together, and this is what's called your monthly nut. Monthly nut. You ever hear that one? As I got my nut. So you got your nut, and what happens with our nut? We take it, it goes to our liabilities, out through our expenses, then our expenses right out. So this is kind of the rhythm that it takes. A lot of people are feeling that it's pretty tight. It is in fact tight. So it's tight, and then we have what? I mean, this is why, look, it's tight. Forbes, 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. We know it. You can go to Google this. You can Google that. You can see what's happening. And this is why so many people are actually right now, particularly with the pandemic and everything else, is the right time to start a business. People are starting home offices. People are working from home. People are starting home-based businesses. The network marketing industry in itself is actually booming because there's no overhead. There's no employees. There's no trappings of traditional business. You are not bound to a certain area, and you have a global business based on a cell phone. But a lot of people still don't get it. They think it's a pyramid. They don't really understand, well, why would I do that? Do I have to speak to my family and friends? What do I have to do? I'm going to give you a different perspective on what this business actually is. So this is why your friend says, hey, I would like to invite you to a private Zoom. And they, listen, give your friend a little break. I'm going to bring my face back on a second. Your friend's new at this. I'm new. I'm not even new at this. I've been in diamond in 3 different companies. I've traveled the world. I've had big businesses. I'm still like nervous, or I'm afraid to inbox people. I get it. We're all the same. I screw it up. Hey, how's it going? It's kind of quirky, right? I'm not a salesman. I just don't like bills. Does that make sense? I just like to help people. And a lot of times people think they're trying to get me to sell something. No, actually they're not. No one is selling anything. And if you're selling stuff, you're not going to make residual income. Just kind of well, what do you mean? It is what it is. That's just, if you really want to be a proficient business owner, you're going to build it's about systems. All right, folks? So your friend says, hey, I'd like to invite you to a private Zoom. And you say, you know what? I'm going to go on the private Zoom. You go to the private Zoom. It looks awesome. Holy cow. But it's like, dang, I can use the income, but $200 a month, I don't know if I can do it. Whatever it is, there's $100 a month, $200 a month, $300 a month, whatever it may be. A lot of times $150 a month, whatever it is that your friend's showing you. If it's something, by the way, you do have to pick the right business because there's a lot of things about it, all right, that you do have to pick the right one. There's sketchy businesses in every arena, all right? Have you turned on the news lately? All right, so but you have to know what you're doing and consult with someone who knows what they're talking about, all right? This is really important. But people are generally afraid. I am. Are you? All right. I was a New York City police officer in the ghetto, and I'm afraid in this business. I don't know why. Would walk into a fire. Literally, we were like, oh, right, we have a fire tonight to go to. I don't know why. I don't know why I wasn't afraid, but this is there's a lot of fear and doubt creeps in. All right. So and I want to let you know that that's normal. All right. All leaders feel it. It doesn't go away. It's just your desire becomes greater. Does that make sense? I got my mug out of the way again. So $200 a month, it's going to pop up here, and you're going to be like literally adding $200 a month to my expenses. Yes. $5,800. Now, this is if you're doing your numbers, $5,800. So let's go into an exercise, and I want to show you. Have you ever heard of compounding interest? I want to show you something about compounding income. Now, this only applies. I want to stop this for a second and bring my face back in fully. This only applies for people who are persistent and consistent and work a business, not people that kind of go out and pitch people and wing it. There's a lot of wingers out there. If you are a wandering generality and kind of like, hey, listen, I want to pitch, I'll throw it out there and see what happens. No one's going to take you seriously. They're going to run from you. And that's just how it is, because I've done both and I still do both. When I do it that way, people run from me. When I do it as a meaningful, specific, then you start to get results consistently. All right. So are you a wandering generality or are you a meaningful specific? All right. It's kind of, it took me a long time to understand what that actually meant. So let me move on. By the way, you may hear children walking in. They just got in from school. They go 1 day a week now because everyone's doing school online. Hello. Has the world changed a little bit? So let's move forward. Let me get the mug out of the way and let's move forward. So here you go. So 6,000. So now you added more. So I'm going to show you something about compounding income. All right. You have a goal now. Your goal should be $5,800. Okay. Is your nut, right? If $5,800 is your nut, you want that to be your income goal. I mean, you can put any goal out there. Make that a big goal that you have. Write it on your wall. Put it out there, and just make sure that that's your income goal. All right. That's just, and in fact, it's giving you an idea of what your goal is. Your goal might be $58,000 a month. It might be $58 a week. Whatever it is. I just want to kind of give you a analogy. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I had loud children. You ever have that in your house? So just goes to show this is real. All right, the real business really happening right now. So $5,800 is your goal, year one. Now, what happens? So here's what you want to draw out the months, all right, and get to something about goal setting and really get into it, all right. So when you get started, you're going to be great. Everyone's going to want to talk to you. No, I'm only kidding. You're going to suck, just so you know, all right. You got to suck at something until you're good at something. So first 2 months, you make nothing. What do you mean you made nothing? They're running from you. Okay. People don't want to, it doesn't always happen like that. I'm just kind of joking around. All right. And by the way, there's some good news at the end of this. I want to let you know, there's a big surprise at the end. So for the next 4 months, you're working it. You're showing up to Zoom, you're inboxing people, you're ad tagging, messaging people to Facebook groups, and nothing exactly is happening. But you have your goal out there. Okay. See this goal? You have your goal, and hopefully maybe like reading a book a month. All right. And you're starting to focus a little bit. Like maybe you're reading a book about the business itself. Okay. Maybe you read a book about leadership. All right. Maybe you read a book about communication. Maybe a mindset. All right. Set goals. All right. So now you're reading some books and things are starting to change for you a little bit. All right. You're starting to change your mindset and you're getting back into it. And now come July, this happens. You made 10 cents. Are you excited yet? I'm not sure if you're excited yet, but if you are excited, put something in the comments. There's links around here somewhere. So, and say how excited you are about the 10 cents. I want to illustrate compounding income. Okay. 10 cents. But the thing about the 10 cents is this. You know how your money's going through your liabilities and out through your expenses? You know how that happens? All right. And this is how it goes. Now there's a blank column here that says assets. This is a different type of income. All right. This income is different than earned income or portfolio income. We're now speaking about passive income. We're speaking about residual income. Okay. And now you get to work and now, something's there. So this is income that goes right in. See, it flows different. The book is called Cash Flow Quadrant. It's not just cash flow or having cash flow. It's how does the cash flow? Which way does it, in fact, flow? They're called flowing assets, all right? So now August, it doubled. Now you get 10 cents. It's going to kind of double every month, all right? And so you have this happening. And by the end of year one, you're making $3.20 a month. But hopefully you read 10 to 12 books, maybe 8 books. You plugged into a lot. Things are happening. You're learning a skill set that will stay with you for life, okay? Not just push marketing stuff on Facebook and trying to get people to buy your stuff, all right? I'm talking about learning real skills, okay? Let's move forward. So now you have, at the end of the year, $3.20 as an asset, okay? But you have a different type of mindset. This is cash flow, So setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into visible. And that, you're focusing on goals. You're going into year 2 with a whole new goal, a whole new mindset. I have same goal, but a whole mindset, ready to rock. And let's get looking at it, right? So you ended with 320, but you got the momentum going. More people want to get started, all right? And this is what's happening, all right? Next 3 months, all right, things are happening. Now, boom, you broke your first $100 a month. So you went from $6.40 to now $12, $25, $50, $100. That $100 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but when it comes in, it's like, that's pretty good. All right. The next month it doubles again, but something happened here. You see this $200 here? Remember, you're in business and this is your expense for your business. You're now what's called your break even. You now have an asset that you own. Believe it or not, you can actually borrow, not that you would, you can borrow money against this business now. You have a business that's cash flowing. All right. By the way, your first year, I didn't get into this, but everything, there's so many things on here that are, you go to your accountant, you say, well, I started a new business and I have my home office. I've been driving to some meetings. I had to buy some trainings and some things. I have my phones that I use for my business. I have this that I use for my business. There are things that you have that you use for your business and your products itself. So you'll actually, mathematically, if you have a W-2, if you're a W-2 employee and you don't have a home-based business, either you haven't looked into it or you just really don't understand math. No offense, all right? Because it's a tax benefit for you to be starting a business, all right? So let's look. Now July hits. Now you got some momentum. In order to have that $200 a month, you have a little bit of a team going now, right? You might not have brought in a team. Maybe some people you brought in who brought in someone who brought in someone who brought in someone who, 6 separations from Kevin Bacon, and all of a sudden, boom, you have someone, all right? So now, July, 400, 800. Now you got stuff cooking. See this $1,600? This is a major breakthrough. Why is it a major breakthrough? Because now you're making checks with a comma in it, all right? Now you have a very serious asset. You have a real business cooking, all right? You have a business with no overhead, no employees, no manufacturing, no warehousing, no headaches, and no trappings of a traditional business. And that's what you have now. You're now a leader. People are following you, and you have stuff cooking, all right? So next month, what happens here is compounding income. When you get, and most people quit before this, by the way, just so you know, don't be that guy or girl, all right? Most people do quit prior to this, but now things really happen because your income starts to increase. $3,200, all right? $6,500, something big just happened. Boom, you smashed your goal. You hit your goal, all right? 2 years into it, 23 months into it, you hit your goal. And what that's all about is this, is now you have, like the great Jim Rohn says, make equal to a little bit more, equal to a double part-time as you do in your full-time job. Working part-time in your fortune and full-time in your job. That's what this is all about, okay? Having the mindset, okay? So let's look what happens next. You want to reset. Now you have bigger goals. You have a new goal. And you'll be amazed that once you have a team going, when you have, 300 people in an organization and all of a sudden they get 2 customers in a month and 2 customers the next month and boom. Now you're at, $13,000 per month, 14,000, maybe 15,000, maybe 10,000, 8,000, maybe $25,000 a month. And things have really changed your life. And this is what it's all about. This is why people are coming here. I mean, look, it's not like, hey, get started and you'll make 25,000 because you won't. I'm illustrating that you won't. You might. And there is a surprise at the end, by the way, like I did say. So here's a couple things I want to throw out there. Residual income. All right. There's a couple ways to look at it. When you start making it, you may start spending it. All right. And all of a sudden you want to spend it on expenses. And as more comes in, you're starting to spend it on expenses and stuff. Okay. That's one way to look at it. All right. And as it comes in, you want to get, obviously erase everything. All right. And then, you build a big business. The trick that I've learned over the years is this. It doesn't matter which one you use, whether it's your income or your assets, your cash flowing assets. Make sure you get rid of these liabilities first before you start spending anything, because these things will kill you. You're paying interest on these things, and this is what's keeping people broke. All right. The credit cards, the student loan, the mortgages. All right. So no matter what you do, find a way to pay that stuff off first. All right. Get rid of that stuff. all right? And you want to get rid of the mortgage and everything else as quickly as you can, because you want to fill this column with a fat zero ASAP. That's what it's all about. If you notice here with this monies, all right, I just want to illustrate something, whether it's $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000 a month. No one's talking about millions. It's about your habits and what you're spending it on. Okay, that's really the key. I harp on this because we've been down both ways before. Okay, so it's important to really understand this. All right, it's important to apply this. Very, very important. All right. Here's a good what I've liked is the 7 Steps by Dave Ramsey. There are leaders out there that say, don't do that. Debt, there's good debt and bad debt. It depends. Are you a savvy real estate investor? If not, you're a regular person, I would do this. You can take a screenshot of that or go to Google and do Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. I would do that without a doubt. And listen, you read this yourself and let me know if this is something that interests you or not. And then I have the good news at the end of the video. So hope you enjoyed this video. What I do want to tell you is this. Right now, it's not going to take you 2 years to get there. It might take you 6 months to get there because of the internet, because of what's going on, because of 2020, pandemic proof. People want to pandemic proof their life. They want a pandemic proof. They're looking for different wells. They're looking for different multiple income streams. This is the more and more people are waking up to a lot of things in this world. They're waking up to the fact that they're going to need to do something in addition to what they were doing to protect their family, to have options, to be able to move if they have to be able to move around, just to have more options, just to have more leverage, just to have more breathing room, and to have that passive income, because that really, in essence, is what does represent real freedom, is being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And lastly, I'll say this: anyone who's telling you that a job is J-O-B, just over broke, they don't know what they're talking about. Don't ever quit your job, all right? There's people say, fire your boss, quit your, and you don't want to do that, because then you're back to the same place that you are, all right? Don't ever depend on that network marketing money to pay bills. It's to get rid of bad debt. It's the key. Get rid of that bad debt and stay focused on what you have to do. I would plug into personal development for sure. Read at least 10 pages a day. Keep yourself as positive as possible. Watch your words, but really get into the personal development end of it. But take action. Take action consistently, and action will overcome fear. So I hope you got some value out of today's training session. And this is one of the sessions I like to speak about, exactly like what is this network marketing business and what is it all about. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you at the top. Let's go do it.